All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of this weekly video of me and Nuno talking about everything nHost. How are you, Nuno? I'm always asking this question.
It's Monday morning, so I'm good, refreshed. I had a great weekend. How are you doing?
I'm also good. Just did a workout and had lunch, a cup of coffee, so I'm good. Some of the things we worked on last week, we released a new website. It looks great, I think. It's white, fresh. It's a little bit lighter.
Yeah, I agree. It looks so much better than the previous design. It's still only on the landing page, though, on the website, and not in the console. But we're gonna start working on having the console redesigned as well soon.
And also, you, Nuno, drafted the workflow of the nHost CLI.
Yes, we are iterating on the CLI once again after getting some feedback from users. We drafted what we think that workflow should look like next. I think we had good discussions around that. So we're still missing the implementation, of course, but that's going to be started this week. I'm very excited for that, actually. I think it's going to be great to our customers.
Yep, for sure. Cool. Let's jump into the transparency segment. We're currently at 124 MRR in June. So we're growing. Last week we had roughly 40 active users on our console. We got a few new signups, a few new paying users. Things are in the right direction. We're not exploding right now, but in the right direction, I'd say. It would be an overstatement to say that we're exploding in growth.
No, but I don't think, we have what I would say or call a good amount of people signing in every day. We're not going to have people converting or upgrading to paid plans as they sign in. So I think this is a normal conversion rate at this point in time. So I'm confident that in the future it's gonna go up.
So let's talk a little bit about learning from users. Okay, let's try. To learn from users is one of the most important things we do at nHost. That's because there are so many uncertainties around starting a startup. One of the most popular approach to learning from customers is to schedule user interviews where you sit down with a customer and talk, discuss, and ask them about the topic of your service to learn. Another source that we have found valuable is for us to build in forms, what we call feedback forms, in our product where customers can give us feedback and advice that we can learn from. And we have implemented 3 of these feedback forms. So the first one is a feedback button in the top right corner of the nHost console. Super simple. You just write whatever you feel like and it gets sent to us immediately. Stripe and Vercel was already using this approach. That's where we got the inspiration from. And another form we have is the NPS form where we track how likely are you to recommend nHost to a colleague or a friend. And you can specify a value between 0 and 10 and also provide feedback in the form of free text. We show this poll for each user every year, and it pops up after a user has used nHost for 3 days. And the next one is a feedback form during when you create the project. So when you create the project, it takes roughly 30 to 45 seconds for the project to get up and running. And we have a little feedback form there where we can learn a little bit about you. What technologies do you prefer and why are you using nHost? And before we jump into the learnings and what we learned from these 3 forms, I'm just going to add that a learning internally is that the multiple choice forms that we provide are the form that the most people use because they are the easiest. They just click. They already know the answer. They already know I'm going to use React. They click it. They don't need to write. They don't need to think. Okay, so some of the things we learned from our users. The 2 frameworks that stands out are React and Vue. I think 95% of our users are using either React and Vue. Out of these 2, React is the most popular one. And that's reflected, I think, generally as well. Good documentation is important for users. This is a technical product. They need good documentation.
We're actively working on that now, improving docs. So
yep, documentation is one of our top priorities right now. Preview environments on pull requests is another feedback that we have. Also something we have in the pipeline. And also cloud functions and custom API built into nHost. So we don't need to look outside for those functionalities. To wrap things up, what are some of the things we're going to work on this week?
I will work on the new CLI according to the draft that we mentioned earlier. And also documentation. I want to go through the example projects and see if they are clear enough. So I'm going to go through them all, write down some notes and change or ads, whatever it's needed to make them more clear. That's my goal for the week.
Yeah, that's good. And same for me, sort of. I'm going to work on the documentation because now we really need to make it very simple to start using nHost. General user experience improvements for new users. Yeah, I think that sort of sums it up. Our product right now is quite stable. I mean, it really works well. It's just that it's hard to get started. You need to know a lot of stuff, and we don't explicitly have everything documented. So this is the goal for this week. Or sort of how do we test this? I would say we test it by just taking the average React developer and see if he or she can start using nHost without much friction.
Yeah,
I think that sums it up. So we're going to go back to work and hope to see you next week.
Yes, see you next week.